What is up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Rebecca, and today we are going to go over some cases where park rangers who had a bunch of experience went missing under strange and unusual circumstances. Let's get into it.
As you fade away, as you fade away, as you fade away.
The first case is going to be Ranger Randy Morganson. He was age 64. He was born in 1945 to Dana and Esther Morganson in Yosemite Valley, California. Randy was working as a backcountry ranger at Sequoia in Kings Canyon at Sequoia National Park. He was the highest skilled ranger. Randy had been a ranger for 28 years. July 21st, 1996, Randy loaded his bag and headed to his usual patrol of his area. He also took a ski pole to use as a walking stick. He was never seen or heard from again. It seems like most of the time when someone goes missing, the weather usually gets worse. On this day, the weather turned bad and rain started to fall. This washed away any footprints that could have been found. Cadaver dogs were called in to assist in the search for Randy. The dogs would be hot on a trail, then just stop. This happened several times during the search for Randy. Random pieces of gear would be found in random locations. However, none could be linked to Ranger Randy. A flare helicopter equipped with an infrared camera picked up a campfire burning on a hillside, but no one was in sight tending to it. 13 days later, the search was called off. Not a single trace of Randy had been found. One day, Randy's wife checked the mail, and a letter from Randy had arrived. This letter had been sent 2 days after his disappearance. Since there is not a postal service in the national park, his wife didn't understand how Randy could have ever mailed the letter. This added to the suspicion that Randy had ran away and started a new life. July 2001, 5 years after Randy had went missing, a 19-year-old ventured off trail and found some remains. The boy also found some new evidence in the Widow Peak drainage buried near the outer area that had originally been searched, below the pools of a waterfall. Rangers who were called in to search also found a shirt with Randy's badge attached to it. They also found a backpack along with a boot. The boot was in half-submerged water. When they investigated the boot, they realized a leg was in it. More rangers were called in, and during that search, a radio was found at the top of a waterfall, unlike the other evidence, which was found at the bottom of the waterfall. Rangers were confused because they clearly recall previously searching this exact spot, and they admittedly say that the walkie-talkie was not there during the original search. Oddly enough, Randy's wife said she had a dream that a man was deceased and floating down a lake shortly after Ranger Randy disappeared, and this is indeed how detectives say that he must have passed away. Mount Morganson was named after Ranger Randy Morganson. What are the odds that a man with 28 years of experience, who also has the most knowledge of being a ranger, would go missing in the national forest? He knew everything there was to know about the dangers and safety of going into the woods. Why would his wife receive a letter from him 2 days after he went missing? How did she even receive the letter if they lived on a national forest land that didn't even receive mail? How can searchers clearly recall not seeing a walkie-talkie, but then it just magically shows up during a second or third search. What is up, everybody? I hope you're enjoying the channel. If you do, make sure you go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps us grow the channel, and we greatly appreciate it. Love you. Y'all are the best. Bye. All right, guys, so I literally just had to dig myself out of a rabbit hole. I am not even giving you guys all of the information because it's currently 8:04 where I live. I go to bed at 8 and I've got work the rest of the week, so I'm trying to make this on the day that I'm off. And if I don't stop now, I'm not going to be able to finish this video because it takes a lot with editing and everything. But guys, this case is crazy. Let me tell you. Oh my God, let's get into it. Ranger Paul Fugate was 41 years old when he went missing. He went missing January 13th, 1980. He was born in Brooklyn. Paul took a lunch break from his job at Chiricoa National Monument in southeastern Arizona. He stepped out around 2 or 2:30 to take a hike and never returned. The hike Paul planned to travel on included an area known for drug trafficking. Some say he ran into a smuggler and lost his life. Paul's supervisor was very strict, and because Paul was very laid back, him and his supervisor did not get along. Years before he went missing, he was fired by his boss. Paul took NPS to court. He won the case and they were able to give him his job back. The day he disappeared, he left instructions with his coworker that if he wasn't back in time, to go ahead and close up without him. The park was in the process of buying some more land. The local Apache tribe was very upset about this purchase. The day Paul disappeared, it was said the direction he was heading in was toward the land the Apaches were upset about. One theory was that the tribal people unalived him. During the investigation of Paul, detectives spoke with a man known as David, who was heard speaking at a party about how he had been to the place where he killed a Border Patrol agent. Paul was not a Border Patrol agent, but he wore a similar uniform that also had a badge. It could have been easily mistaken for a Border Patrol agent's uniform. Another man named Dick says he saw two men driving away with Paul from the area where Paul went missing. The direction the truck was headed was the same area David said he buried a body of a supposed Border Patrol agent. Later, David told detectives that he was just trying to impress people, but that it was a lie. He would later take a polygraph and it would say that he was lying, thus meaning that he did indeed unalive a Border Patrol agent. Jody, his wife, married Paul on December the 11th, 1964. After 2 weeks of searching, the search was called off. Doty would ask the National Forest if they would pay out his life insurance. The National Forest instead said that they believed Paul ran away and fired Paul, saying he missed too many days at work. Because he was fired, they would no longer be paying his widow. They also wanted her to repay them $7,000 that was paid to her during the search for Paul that he received as his paycheck. A letter was received that was supposedly written by someone who knew what happened to Paul. The letter said, "Gentlemen, you are seeking the whereabouts of a national park ranger who disappeared from the Chiricoa National Monument in southeastern Arizona in January of 1980. If so, Tex Carpenter is an inmate in the Arizona State Prison, is who you should talk to, as he told me nearly a year ago that he helped knock off and get rid of a park ranger who got in his partner's way when they were doing something illegal with narcotics in the above-mentioned park." The letter was received by DOI. It had a semicolon that stood out because that is not the proper use of a semicolon. It was also from Illinois. The detectives met with Tex, but he claims that if he knew anything, he would have been glad to help. However, he didn't know anything. The police believed him. They believed it was just an elaborate scheme to throw authorities off. Dottie had a legal fight with the government trying to obtain her payout from Paul's insurance. During the court case, she had sent a letter to Ed, which is a person that was involved in the ongoing court case. And here is what the letter said. Dear Ed, plaintiff respectfully submits damn little new to be reported to the Court of Claims. Here it is anyhow. The letter has a semicolon that is also incorrectly used. Dottie won the court case and received her back pay. Paul, still to this day, has not been found. Why did Paul tell his coworker to close up if he didn't return in time? Was this normal, or did he know something might happen? Why did David say he killed Paul, and why did he fail a lie detector test? Did David really unalive Paul? Why did a witness say he saw Paul with 2 other men in a truck? Was this really Paul in this truck with 2 other men? What are the odds that Dottie would also add a semicolon, just like the letter the DOI received? Why was Tex Carpenter mentioned in the letter? Was he truly not involved? As for me, I feel like a semicolon was just too big of a coincidence. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you haven't already, make sure you hit that like, comment, and subscribe button. It really helps us grow the channel, and we greatly appreciate it. Y'all are the best. Love you. Bye.